Hi guys, welcome. You know what time it is. 2 Cent Tuesdays. Yes. We
Tap
are
in, tap
so
in.
excited. Yes. This is 2 Cent Tuesdays with Nakeisha and Shavonti. I am Nakeisha Washington, CEO and founder of Knowledge and Enterprises, where I inspire and encourage girls to have confidence, character, and class while they become our future leaders. And then we have Miss Shavonti, or
Hi, my name is Shavonti Archer. I am the founder and CEO of Systematic Motivation, ascending the youth into the STEM field one rocket at a time. Now,
oh,
today, I am a transmission line engineer, and by night, I turn into a STEM motivator.
yes. And then who do we have here?
And then we have Van Phillips Jr. here, current educator, motivator, whatever you choose to describe me as, at whatever hat I choose to put on at that point in time. I'm
Mhm.
currently a teacher, also founder of Redefining the Black Man LLC, where we really just try to change the way society is just perceiving us African American men and changing the
Mhm.
narrative through the way we dress and through the way we speak to one another.
All
I
right
love it.
now. I love it. I mean, the way you say
Mhm.
it, it's just like, yes.
Yeah,
I'm here.
talk to me black excellence. I need it.
Yeah. So, Shavanti, won't you tell us about what is 2 Cent Tuesdays and why we're here?
Of course. So, Two Cent Tuesdays is going to be brought to you by Miss Nakeisha Washington and myself. This will be every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. from now until November 19th. We will have special guests who maybe left the educational system, and also we will have special guests who joined the education system. Now, with our Two Cent Tuesdays, we will be giving our 2 cents about how education has changed, how far we've come, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we hope that you guys all stay tuned. This is going to be such a great conversation with many different guests every single Tuesday at 6:30.
Yes, that was awesome. Look at
Thank
you. You
you.
ready for the talk and everything. I need a new host. All right. So, guys, welcome. Please share this out so other people can watch it. And we love comments. We want this to be as interactive as possible. We want it to be we just lost them. Oh, goodness. Come on back, man. But we want this to be a conversation. And our guest is currently just left the building, but he'll be right back. So, but we want it to be a conversation, especially with our educators and parents. We want you to talk about your experience as a student, your experience with the educational system. And if you are an educator, why did you get into it? Why did you leave? Like, we really need to make sure that we have open conversations, and not just conversations. We also want to have solutions. And that go Van just like that. He's back.
I'm
Told you
back.
guys
I'm back.
he'll be
I'm back.
back.
I'm back. I don't have a clue what happened, but I'm back. That's the most
I
important.
know that's all that you're
Yes.
back. That you're back. All right. Well, we're going to get started with the first question. And it's your personal experience as a student. We'll kind of chime in about our experiences, but we want to hear about you because you're our special guest. So go ahead, Ben.
Yes.
Yes. I have a very interesting, I guess you can say, story. I come from a very educational background. My father is actually a high school principal. We actually celebrated his 60th birthday this past weekend.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Happy
Happy
birthday.
Yeah,
birthday.
most definitely, man. I definitely tell him that you guys wished him a very happy birthday. But I come from a very educational background. My father's been a principal now, right at about 31 years, and that was one of the main reasons why I said hell to the no for education. Like, this is
Well, get real with us. Why don't you?
Yeah.
not for me. This is not
Mhm.
for me. And it wasn't as though he just didn't like it, but I was just like, man, yo, the responsibility that he has and
Mhm.
everything that just is encompassed as far as with education, the politics, and just everything that I was seeing him deal with. I was like, you know what, this really is not for me.
Mhm.
And being as though my father was a principal,
Mhm.
you would think, man, he was very on the very straight and narrow. But when I tell you that was almost the furthest from the truth, it was almost like the more they threatened to call him, it was almost like the worse I behaved. And I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
yo,
You were one of them students.
I was
Oh
Oh,
one
no.
man.
of those. I was definitely one of those. And it was almost as far. And I sit back because I saw a lot of my teachers now. They're my Facebook friends. And it's interesting just to kind of hear what they said. Man, I always no, you didn't. Stop lying. Stop lying. Like I remember phone calls from home, and so it was. I have very interesting story. Just I firmly believe, and I think this is an epidemic, especially now because I'm also in the mental health field. So I do family therapy and family counseling.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is.
And it helps me a whole lot with education, just understanding the mind of a student and understanding the mind of a family and the dynamics of a family. And I think one of the big things that is kind of running rampant right now in the education field, because it's not a lot of people who look like me in the education field. African American men, we represent 2% of the entire teaching perspective, if you say. And so they just don't see a lot of me, and a lot of the times, a lot of people just don't know how to speak with them, how to respond to them, how to reach them, how to get to them. And so the epidemic right now is a lot of our African American boys, they're getting diagnosed with ADHD and ADD. And the first thing people do is they pop pills down their mouth. Well,
that's true.
Medication. This boy need to be this. And I firmly believe, just growing up, just hearing some of the talk, as far as some of my older teachers just joking around, boy, you were so hyper. And I firmly believe if my father wasn't an educator and he didn't really know as far as the development of a child, I firmly believe I would have been diagnosed with ADHD, diagnosed with ADD, put on medication. But being just from my father having that background and my mother also being there at the house, that never was the case, and that never was a situation in my house. But I see it so rampant today. And it's not the simple fact that they need the medication or they need the medicine. It's just the simple fact the environment that they're in is not conducive to almost the mindset that they have. So we're expecting kids now. My ELA class, I teach ELA, English language arts, for those who are not familiar with
that. Look at you, a black man teaching English. Wow.
We're gonna get to that. No work, we're gonna get to that. But because I teach ELA, and so my blocks are right at about 150 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I hope my principal is watching, but I hope she's not holding my feet to the fire. I think it's 150 minutes. So a lot of the times they're expecting 9, 10, 11-year-old kids to sit down in a seat for minutes. It's not happening.
Not happening. I know that.
I'm good and grown, and I'm not trying to sit anywhere for 150 minutes straight.
No.
I'm trying to sit anywhere sitting still for an hour. So if I'm not trying to do it as an adult, I know this 10-year-old or this 11-year-old, this 12-year-old isn't trying to do it as well. And I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of had almost some problems growing up as far as inside the classroom. Like I wasn't trying to sit down that long and just listen to you just lecture. And so now when I'm now in a different field and I have a different hat on, I play a different role, I'm able to reach the unreachable. I'm able to motivate the unmotivatable. I'm able to inspire the uninspired, just for the simple fact.
Preach. Yes.
The seat that you sit in, not only did I sit in that seat, but I wore those same pants that you wearing. I put on the same shoes that you put on. I wore that same exact shirt you have on, and I had that same exact mind frame that you had. So if I specifically know what I struggled with growing up, I know that's not going to be one of the downfalls of my students. Now, of course, there are factors that we just as educators, we can't control. But one thing I do almost stick my chest out about is controlling their environment in my classroom. And that's just one thing growing up that I just didn't see anything as far as that made me want to come into that classroom, that made me want to enter into that classroom, that made me want to learn in that classroom. And so since I didn't necessarily see it growing up as far as a student, when it was time for me to become an educator, and initially I didn't really know how to do it, because when you've seen something one way for 18 years, that's the way you really know how to do it.
Right.
I didn't really tap into what I was lacking. I was just doing what I had been taught or what I had seen growing up, because when I got into education, it was literally by mistake. It was literally by mistake. I don't know if you guys want to get into that later.
Slow down. You don't even give us a chance to talk. Wait, hold on. I do want to say we have viewers, and viewers, please say hi. Somehow I can't show the comments like I usually do, Shavonti. I swear we have issues every time. So I've been posting comments, but they haven't been showing. But yes, hi viewers. So let's take a pause, man. He was going into it. Let's dissect some of the stuff you were saying. Hold on now. Okay. One thing I do want to comment when you talk about being still for 150 minutes. If you think about like staff meetings, teachers are the worst. You are not going to have a staff meeting or professional development longer than 20 minutes and I'm out. I'm on my phone. I'm up, walking around, eating. Like, I just can't do it. So why do we expect students to do it? And it's boring. And then you want them to put their phone. They had to put all the technology away and just listen to you talk. Too much. So I understand that. All right. So let's go back. Let's see. Shavonti, he said some stuff. Let's go back and dissect. It was a lot. So
it was a lot. It was a lot. So you mentioned earlier that you come from a two-parent household. A lot of times, I want to say the educational system likes to point the finger at those single-family households, like, oh, they're a bad child. They come from a bad environment. They didn't have this. They didn't have that. When you openly admitted that you were one of those bad kids and you had a father and a mother in the home.
And the father was an educator.
Like, yes. So growing up, like, okay, looking back on that and your students, do you see the same thing happening with the two-parent household, with the single-parent household? Is there really a difference?
Well, just being in the environment that I teach in, we are a Title I school, so that means 100% that they've deemed that 100% of our schools are, I guess you can say, granted free and reduced lunch, not reduced, but absolutely free. Wow. And so with being at a Title I school, that means that we fall below the poverty lines, which some people run from, but I run to it. Just with the, I guess you can say, the data that I've collected based off the students that I've taught, there, and I hate to say it, and I hate to put it this way,
we gotta be real.
You've been real up until this point. Get in there. Get in there.
The two-parent background that I've seen is so small and so minute. I don't think you can actually give you can't really, because when you look at, let's say right now I have 80 students. Out of those 80 students, I literally have 10 students max who come from a two-parent background. So it's just, I don't think it's enough data to show.
That's what I was going to say.
Two-parent background, one parent, because the numbers are just so
different.
And I just want to say this: when we say two-parent household, that doesn't always mean that it's a very functioning and able household. Sometimes you got two parents going upside each other's head. And and so, sometimes being in a single parent, because that parent got away from that. So sometimes we got to stop just saying because they're in two-parent household that they're going to be just the best students and they're going to get the bright, because, hey, you never know what those two parents are doing. They could be, doing anything. So that was my 2 cents.
Yes. I love that. And that's something I would like to change the stigma on, because I know some single moms. I know some single fathers out there. They do not play about their kids, and they're on the dean's list, on the honor roll list. So I just wanted to bring that up. But I absolutely love your story. I love how you can look back on that and show, okay, this is where I came from. And this is how I'm going to be better. I'm not only going to be better, but I'm going to teach these young men and these young women how to be better as well. I absolutely love that. So we do want to get into, how did you change careers? Now, at the beginning, you said education, hell no. So how did we get you here?
Okay, so my story. So I played college football. And when I played college football for Grambling State University. So I played college football for Grambling, played there for 4 years. And after I was done playing ball, I had every intention on, like almost any other college athlete, man, the league is where I'm going. I got to get paid, man. I got to do this. And it was some unfortunate circumstances that happened my last year college football that didn't allow that to even come into play. And so when that didn't come into play, granted, I literally already had 1 degree. I got my first degree in 3 years.
Wow.
And so I already had a degree.
That's nothing to just glance over. You got your first degree in 3 years.
3 years.
I got my first degree. My whole premise of when I got to school, because I mean, I was average, I guess you could say average student in high school, 2.4, 2.5 GPA. First time I took the ACT, I got a 13 on the ACT. So, just that smart guy
Wow.
that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got to school, I said, man, let's rewrite the narrative. Let's change this thing. My old man, he's a huge component of that, huge component of just me rewriting the script. And I don't know, it was really like a light bulb switch when I graduated high school. I can't really say and put my finger on what exactly happened, but I said,
Mm-hmm.
man, yo, it's changing.
Mm-hmm.
And literally from the time I stepped on campus,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't take anything under 15 hours. Uh,
Wow.
uh, I never enjoyed the summer break. I was always in school during summer break, and we always had summer break.
Wow.
So I never went back home for summer. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was able to graduate in 3 years. My final year that I was my final year as an undergrad, I pledged Kappa. I took 21
Oh,
hours in school, and on top of that, I was playing ball.
Goodness
So I just
gracious.
really was just trying to. I'm a big component. It's one thing that you'll hear moving forward, just defying stereotypes and just breaking the mold of just what these people have somewhat put on. Not just black men
Yes.
athletes. That's a
Athletes.
dumb job. I prided
Frat
myself in
guys. Mm-hmm.
never acknowledging and never telling my teacher that I was a football player because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want any
To
special treatment. Yeah, I didn't want.
exactly.
I didn't want it. I didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I graduated college, and once I graduated college, I was really like, yo, I
What
just
was
don't.
your bachelor's in?
My bachelor's in criminal justice, and then
Okay.
I received my because again I was and I'll get to it. My whole purpose was okay, if the league doesn't work out, law school is where I'm going. So let me learn the criminal justice field, and we didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a free law program at Grambling. So when I got my undergrad degree in criminal justice, the only thing that was kind of somewhat in my field because we didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
political science advanced degree, and I didn't want to get a double major. I wanted to get an advanced degree. So I also got a master's in criminal justice just a year later. And
Wow.
when I was getting my master's, I needed somewhere to actually fund the bills because at that point,
Oh, we all know about that.
I'm not on scholarship anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any type of refund coming in. So I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, I need to just
Where is the
survive.
money going to come from?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And even to this day, I'm very, very prideful. I was like, yo, I got one degree. I'm not calling back home.
I'm not
Hey,
asking nobody
hey,
for
Pop,
nothing.
I need some help, bro. I've never
Nope.
been a fan or a component of that. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, I gotta go out here and get it.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, the guy who was cutting my hair, he was also the manager at a boys' home, and in this
Mm-hmm.
boys' home, it was for strictly underprivileged kids who were in DCFS, OJJ, owned by the state. Parents that gave them up. I'm talking about anywhere from just foster care to rape.
Wow.
I mean, we was just literally dealing with everything. People can look it up. It's called the United Methodist Children's Home in Ruston, Louisiana. And at that
Mm-hmm.
point in time, that was my literally the job that I had that I was gonna like, okay, man, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, I mean, because at that point in time, I still wasn't on full time. I was getting like 20 hours a week. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you got bills to pay. That's just not enough. And so, by the grace of God, my mother-in-law, she had just written a grant for the alternative teaching certification program. She wrote the grant, and she said, look, you can be a grad assistant as well. So you can work with me from 8 to 12, and then after you've done your time up here, then you can go do your thing at the children's home. Because at that point in time, I was working from 3 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
So that was all I needed. I was good. I was great, but it was only available for a semester.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated, but I drug my feet. I drug my feet, drug my feet, drug
Mhm.
my feet. And so I was like, yo, I'm gonna need a job. I'm gonna need something else to kind of supplement this.
Yeah.
Uh, once this is over with. But by the grace of God, end up getting put on full time. At that point in time, I was working from 11 at night to 7 in the morning. So I was
Wow.
like, you know what? What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna jump in the school system. I'm gonna just go be a sub. You know,
Okay.
ain't no
Mhm.
whole lot of pressure on me. I'm just gonna be a sub. Collect my little check, go on to the house, take me. That's why I got simple stuff, simple.
Yeah.
And so I literally in the parish I was in because we have parishes in Louisiana. So the
Mm-hmm.
parish I was in is called Lincoln Parish, and I went to literally. I was like, man, you know what? my old man said, hey, what you need to go do is go introduce yourself to all the principals. So when school time comes, they'll know exactly who you are when they make the phone call as far as looking for a sub.
That's true. That's true.
It was golden. It was golden. I went to every school. They were impressed because I was dressed kind of similar the way I dressed on my social media accounts. And by the grace of God, I had went to like 7 schools. And my 8th school, I went in there and the principal heard me speaking. She's like, man, I guess because it was a man, it was only one man, 2 men working in that school at that time.
Wow.
And very small school. It was literally in the middle of nowhere. I didn't get any cell phone coverage.
Oh no.
When I pulled up, I called my pops. Like before I lost coverage, I was like, yo, this school is in the middle of no pop. I'm not doing this.
He was down here with children of the corn out here, like just no way.
I'm a city boy. I say, pop, look, I'd have been to 6, 7 schools. Hey, bro, I'm just going. This is just one that's just not gonna be set, man. Trust me, man. Just go to that school. You're already almost there. Go ahead and pull up, man. Just introduce yourself. I said, all right, man. Bye. Hung up. End up stepping into the school. Like I said, the principal ended up hearing my voice. She asked me to come back in her office, and literally, I didn't even know I was being quote unquote, I guess you can say, interviewed. So she was asking me a few questions, just that and the third, just kind of seeing my background. And I guess you can say impressed so much. She was like, look, I know you want a sub job, what you want a paraprofessional job. At that point in time, I didn't know anything about like school. So I was like, yeah, but what is that?
Yeah.
Like, what is a paraprofessional? Like, what do they do?
Right.
She ran down what they did. She was like, hey, I also got an assistant head basketball coach. It'll be more money. It'll be some more money.
Sign me up.
What do I sign? Oh, you know what? I also have the actual head baseball coach. If you want it, it's yours.
Wait,
my goodness!
When
you was getting all type of stuff.
I tell this story, people literally never believe me. They never believe. Like, man, stop. When I tell you, I walked in with 0 jobs. I walked out as a paraprofessional, as a head baseball coach, assistant head varsity girls and boys basketball coach.
Wow.
I walked out there with 5 jobs. I was like, yo, this is it right here.
This is it. Favor ain't fair.
I swear.
Talk to me. But at the end of the day, I was like, yo, this is just in the meantime, because I was planning on trying to get into law school in January. So this was just something that was kind of holding me over. Man, I got in there, man, and started making just immediate changes, started reaching some of the kids that really a lot of people just didn't want to deal with. And I was a para for probably about a month. And I was like, yo, this is my calling.
Wow.
This is my calling. And I literally called my mother-in-law. First, I called my father. And said, yo, I think teaching is what I need to be doing. And he was skeptical. He was like, son, are you sure?
Right, because I even tell my own kids, like, you aren't going to teaching, but when that calling is on you, there's nothing you can do.
He was like, no, the ceiling, you can't. It's a ceiling that you can. He was thinking financially.
Right.
It's only a ceiling that you can reach. I was like, Pop, this is my calling. This is what I want to do. So I was like, man, forget law school. I'm not going.
Who says forget law to be a teacher? Oh,
to be a teacher.
Wow.
I would have fainted. Believe me, my wife, even to this day, man, if you would have went to law school, man, we could have been.
This, red bottoms, everything.
Yes, everything. I know she's like, what? Wait a minute. We ain't talking about this. This was not in the plan.
And at that point in time, she was just my girlfriend. And she was like, are you sure? Like, you sure? Man, fast forward, a year, we end up winning the first state champion. We end up winning. I was only there a year. We ended up winning the first state championship in 30 years.
Oh, wow.
My baseball team that I was the head coach in, we ended up winning more games that year than combined the previous 3 years.
Wow.
Man, obviously what I'm doing right now, I think this is what God has called me to do.
That's true. Yes.
But there's a big caveat. Of course, when you get into the alternative teacher certification program, it's these tests that you have to pass. And I won't take everybody's time to just tell. But just in order for me to become a teacher, man, I had to take this test, man, 12 times.
12 times.
Wow.
12 times, man, at $155 a pop. You do the math. And I
Oh
told
my
And
God.
Shavonti, that's why I'm starting the teacher training program to help teachers with their
Yes.
pre-certification class, because it is not any
understand.
joke. So
People don't get it. And it was to the point I was like, yo, God, if this is what you call me to do, player, you sure not really helping me, man.
Show me. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
a similar story about that too.
you not
wow.
helping me try to continue this gift that you were calling me to do. But one thing I did understand was he was taking me through that for a particular reason, because I 100% believe he knew my mind frame. He knew I didn't want to be, quote unquote, in the fluent area. He knew I wanted to be in the hood. He knew I wanted to be in a poverty-stricken area. And only if you're going to really understand some of the battles that these kids going through, you have to really go through some real battles. Because if I'm just being quite frank, man, like I said, I grew up in a 2-parent household. My father was an educator. It wasn't no real struggle
Right,
like
right.
it wasn't like I didn't know if I was gonna eat at night, or I didn't have
Right.
shoes or clean clothes. Like water was cut off, like rats. Like I didn't come from that environment, so I was privileged. That would still be even an understatement. It would be an understatement. And so it was almost okay. You need to understand how to navigate through these students who don't have your similar background. They don't have, and only how you can be able to tap in really to relate. Yo, you need to go through some hell right now. I need to take you through
Yep.
some storms. And I firmly believe the educator that a lot of individuals see today is firmly because the things that I had to go through as far as just to get to this point.
Just to get to that
And he
point.
wanted
Yeah.
to test you to see if this really what you wanted, because you had
Yes.
so much success that first time, winning state championships. Everything
Mhm.
was glittering and
In the first
gold
year.
in the
First
first
year.
year. So he was like,
Right.
but that's not, that's all good and dandy. But are you really gonna work with these kids and teach these kids and reach these kids? So he had to take you through the fire to
Yes.
test your heart, make sure you won it 12 times. Oh, you better than me. I've been like, okay, law school, here I come.
Yeah.
I tell my students, man, I'm like, man, yo, man, I paid almost $3,000, man, just to stand in front of y'all, man. I need to.
You're gonna get this lesson.
I earned this respect. Like you gonna give me that one. You gonna
Yes,
give me
yes.
that. So
Yeah.
that's
So
my.
before we move on to the next question, man, let's go back and dissect some of the stuff you said, because then we want to talk about your experience as a teacher, because we know how you got there now. So Shavonti, I know you have questions, so go ahead.
Yes. So it's just, I'm so glad that you share that story with your students about how many times you had to take that test. I have a similar story. As I told you, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I had this dream of becoming a professional engineer. It's equivalent to passing the bar and getting those little behind your name. And so I took the test. This was 2017, I think, at the time, and I failed. So I said, okay, God, okay, focus, I'm going to get back in there, I'm a champ. And I took it again. And I said, if I fail this time, I'm going to quit engineering. I'm going to go and be a teacher. So I applied to become a teacher. I got accepted to be a math teacher for grades 6 through 12. And I got accepted to be an engineering teacher, grades 6 through 12. And I was like, this is what you want me to do, God. Clearly, this is what you want me to do. And I got the results back from my second time taking the exam. And it was like yours. It was like $150. And I failed again. I was like, okay, I'm going to be a teacher. I hear you, God. And the minute I started talking to so many of my teacher friends and my, people who are in education, they were like, girl, you better keep being an engineer. Girl, don't you come on this side. I'm telling you, it's too many politics. It's too many whatever. So my question,
it's so much.
A lot of people maybe have this question for you too. After failing, like myself, after failing, what pushed you to keep going? What pushed you to keep saying, you know what, I'm going to pass this one? After the 5th time, after the 9th time, what pushed you?
If I'm being honest, it's something that me and my wife talk about even to this day. It's really not about, really how hard you can get hit, like how hard you hit. Is really about, okay, after you get hit, what do you do? What do you do? Anybody can throw a lick. Anybody can stand in the ring and they can throw one. What can you do when you literally get knocked out?
Knocked down.
Because I was listening to an interview from Mike Tyson.
If
he was saying, Mike, man, so and so has this plan, and he knows exactly how to stop you, and he knows exactly how to, beat you. Mike, everybody got a plan until you get hit in the mouth.
And that's not true. You can be like, I'm gonna do this. Okay.
What about, man? I can remember that plan. I was just thinking.
Right. That's what
Exactly.
You had a plan, man. I'm gonna be an engineer, and it's gonna go like this. It's gonna go like this.
Yeah.
Then you get hit in the mouth. Now what do you do? So if and I'm a firm believer, if I commit to something, I got to see it through. Right, wrong, or indifferent. If I committed to something, I have to see it through. And that's just another part of just my upbringing. I never forget, man, my 10th grade year when I was playing. I literally played every sport in high school. So I was playing baseball. And at that point in time, and I wasn't really getting a whole lot of playing time in baseball. I had started picking up some noise in football. Some college started calling. I was like, man, bro, let me just quit, bro. Let me just go on by my business, man. Let me just go ahead and let me put all my attention into this. And so, man, your last name, Phillips, man. Whatever you start, you're gonna finish. And then once you finish, then we'll approach the situation. When it's time to approach it. And because that simple fact, he didn't let me quit. He didn't let me leave.
Right.
I literally never quit anything in my life. Never.
That's amazing.
When I went through the trials and the tribulations of just trying to become a teacher, I just fought on some of those things that I was taught as far as being my upbringing. And I'll never forget, Mike Tyson said, man, everybody got a plan until they
get knocked in the mouth. I'll never forget that.
Yes. And I just want to let our audience know, I put a couple of things up there. Comments are not coming through, and I don't know why. There's always something. It seems like technology is great until it doesn't work. But please leave comments. Maybe it's showing up on your side, so later when we watch this, we can see it. But we want to just say hey to everyone that's tuning in. We got a special guest tonight, Van Phillips Jr. He is giving it to us raw. He's letting you know that hey, you might have a plan to get hit in the mouth. So you know, but we want to hear it now because you got hit in the mouth like 12 times. Well, I'm sorry, 11 times, and then that 12th time. You remind me of, I was thinking about when you said that about night school with Kevin Hart. But he kept taking the test. And he became the valedictorian of his class. So, he kept doing it. So I want to know about your experience as a teacher now, because I wanted to show the comments, but you've won all kind of awards and accolades. And I love what you're doing for alternative education, because I have been an alternative education teacher for the last 5-6 years. And boy, it's nothing easy and it's nothing nice. But our kids need us that look like us in there, because I'm almost had to jump on coworkers because I could talk to him and her like that, but you don't, because you don't even like no. So what is your experience as a teacher?
My experience as a teacher, I don't think it's anything different than probably anybody else experience. Probably I'll never forget. I end up getting to, like I previously said, I had problems passing the test, so that led to problems getting into the program, which led to problems with me becoming a teacher, actually a classroom teacher, not a paraprofessional. And I remember, man, I had flunked it. I think it was like the fourth time I had passed. I had taken it 3 times because the program that I was in, I had to pass 3 different tests. And so the first test I had to pass just to get into the program, it took me 4 times to pass it. And I'll never forget the 3rd time that I failed. If I didn't pass it that 4th time, I would have to wait an entire semester before I could actually become a teacher, because there were different cohorts that you could be a part of. And so I'll never forget, man, I found it like I passed the test like August the 3rd. School started like August the 6th. I didn't have no type of training, no type of background. I had literally zero zilch. But I made a phone call, and I was like, it was actually my old my coworker who I was coaching with the previous year, my basketball coach. At that point in time, they were shutting the school that I was at. They were closing the 6 through 12 school, and they was making all those kids go to another school. That's how small the country it was.
Wow.
They had closed that school down, and I wanted to really be with upper grades, because one thing that I did when I still wanted to coach, because I still was really, 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 really in love with, so I still wanted to coach. And I'll never forget when I stepped my first foot inside of that classroom, and I didn't have a clue what to do. Like, I say, It was shameful how much I didn't know.
But I just want to tell you this. I've known educators that went through all the training, the 2-week institute, and stepping in that first day, be like, what the heck? Because it's all fine, decorating your room, getting ready. Oh, my little angel's going to come in. And they walk through that door, because I'm going to tell you this real quick. Our alternative school had just opened up, and we had certain kids come that morning. It's like, oh, they're not bad. That wasn't the bus came. That bus came. Those kids came down we were like, oh my God, like I want to go get in my car. But I mean, it's like people had like, and we was in like a school, but it also had offices, and people had like food and bottles of water outside the office. They cleaned that stuff up. They would just, I mean, within 10 minutes, it felt like we had a stampede and a riot. And we were like, are we supposed to teach them? Like, it was like lean on me all over again. I was like, what happened? So it don't matter if you have all the experience. After 15 years, I looked at those kids like, I'm out of here. I was like, no, don't worry. So, okay, keep going. I just had to say, that's the, woo, yes, been there.
But yeah, I never, like my first year, and then literally my first class was my first year at the school, first year teacher. So I was showing, you show your coworkers, your the list of students that you have your first period, your homeroom class. Ooh, that's all I'm hearing. Ooh. Got her?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got him? Phillips, I'm praying for you, bro. This is my first class.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Get your mind right. You have no clue what to do, what to teach, and you finna get all these just terrible kids that they done told you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, they were exactly that. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't line. They wouldn't book. No, they
they're terrible.
The real deal. That was the real deal.
Gosh, I had I think 12. It was only like 12 students in that class. 6 of them had failed at least once or twice before. I had 7. I had literally 7th graders. 7th graders. I had 2 15-year-olds, 1 16-year-old, and 7th grade. It was unbelievable.
Oh my Lord.
Oh my God.
It was unbelievable. I had first time it blew my mind. I had a 7th grader drop out. Like I had a 7th grader drop out of school.
It probably was of age to where they could legally drop out.
Which was astonishing to me. Like,
oh my
wow.
goodness.
But when I tell you those kids, my first year, I went back and I spoke to the school that I was previously teaching at. I spoke to the senior class. That was the first class. That first class that I'm talking about, those were graduating seniors. And I went back and I spoke to them. And when I tell you, I couldn't do anything but smile.
Yes.
Because it actually helped me become the teacher who I am today. Because it instilled a sense of respect for the student, regardless of how terrible they are, regardless of how bad they've been in the past. You'll look to wipe this slate clean, and you still have to show this child, because at the end of the day, it's still a child. You still have to show this child that they deserve. And it really taught me how to become a teacher, just having that terrible class. And when I see them, man, they come up and they hug me. They was loving on me.
Oh.
I told them, man, y'all made Mr. Phillips. The accolades that you kind of see, like you all made me the type of teacher that I am. They started because of it. But it was something that has worked for me right now as a teacher, going on year number 7. It was literally by coincidence. So I was calling everybody, one of them, Mr. or Mrs. in their last name. And initially, it didn't start off as a sign of respect. It started out as I couldn't pronounce.
That's their first name. Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, I'd rather say Smith, Jones, Brown versus Ladashia. Like, and then they get mad if you mispronounce. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know that the dash I supposed to say dash. So Ladashia. But you have to, it's just a dash there. Like, I didn't know. So you're right. It's like Mr. I say it all the time to this. You're not gonna get me.
I flipped it on. Man, look, as a sign of respect, I'm gonna show you that I respect you, and hopefully in turn you show that you respect me. I will not call any one of you all by your first name. I'll call you Mrs. or Miss, and whatever your last name is, because that's how I expect Miss Phillips to be addressed. And that was because I can pronounce y'all first name. And also, man, I'm at this point in time, I'm 22. Oh, you see a beard now, like you didn't see any.
You look like a baby.
Oh my goodness!
I look like a I look like
And some of them probably look older than you. I'm pretty sure.
They had more face shit than me. 100%. My middle school, some of my middle school had more than I did. 100%. So I had to just do all of these different things to really distinguish myself from everyone else.
From
Because
them.
I was so much younger than all of the other teachers, but I didn't look so much older than all of my students. So I had to really find a way to distinguish myself. So the way I approached and the way I spoke to them was a way. The way I dressed was a way to distinguish myself from them and from me, which is kind of how I got started on all of this. And literally, that was how I began getting recognized because the way I presented myself, the way I spoke to my students, and that was just a part of kind of how I started winning some of the awards that I was winning. Again, I top 5 teacher in the nation that came through the alternative teaching certification program. And granted, it's crazy. That story is crazy. So the program that I came through, they were hounding me. Yo, we want to submit some stuff, man. You want to submit some stuff for you, man. Let's stop by. Let's record. Let's record. Oh, okay. When's a good day? I get with you. Hey, Mr. Phillips, man, we want to stop by and record, man. Some of the class we can send out. Oh, okay. What day? I'll let you know, man. I'll get back with you. And hey, Phillips, we on the way to come record your class, man. Get ready. And literally, it wasn't planned. I found out.
And that's the worst because as a teacher, you want to be like, okay, and you guys, you don't even
got to get them prepared.
Now, don't y'all look, because I got an observation coming up. I'm like, don't y'all make me look bad because I will hurt you after this. Don't you know? So
it's so funny. It's so funny how we did. I mean, the lesson was just phenomenal. Again, they sent it off. I didn't end up getting top 3, but I ended up getting top 5. They flew me out to Chicago.
That's amazing.
Wow.
It was crazy just how it kind of came because it was definitely not planned. Like I'll never forget. Speaking of observation, I'll never forget my first observation. All of my first observation from my principal. This wasn't a form. My first observation from my principal and the superintendent came inside the classroom.
Not the superintendent.
Superintendent came in.
Oh my gosh.
And literally all technology went dead. The moment they stepped in, I was like,
the day of all days.
And the superintendent. Oh my God.
I was like, you cannot make this up, man. By this time, I'm still a first year teacher. So by this time, I'm sweating. I'm like, just stay calm, guys. Just stay calm. And let's do some. Oh, I'm super nervous at this point.
Yes.
Like, I cannot believe this is happening.
Because you don't have that experience. You know, once you get experience, teacher, you make up something on the fly. You like, why want you guys, we're going to take this paper out. Y'all going to draw the picture of, and then you're going to explain on the picture. But you don't have that first answer, but you like, wow.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. I'll never forget my first formal observation.
Wow.
I passed the secretary. My first formal observation. The instructional coach is sitting there. She's observing me. And come in, cupcakes, balloons, the whole 9, like ready to throw a birthday party in the middle of the observation.
Oh my gosh.
First year teacher, new teacher. I didn't know. Yo, you got to step out. You can't come in, bro. Like you can't. Like you're not stepping in here. I didn't know. Like I thought I was like, I had to let her in. Like it's a kid. Like I don't know what. So I let her in, and literally her phone did not stop going off throughout the entire lesson. And I was
my goodness.
I didn't know, and I wasn't comfortable enough within my position to be like, ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you.
Right. You know, and you 22, you young. Oh man.
I literally didn't know what to do. All of those moments made me the teacher who I am today. So I thank them for it. All at the time, I was like, boy,
yes.
I thank them for it now because without that, I don't think I would be able to, like you said, think on my feet as quick as possible, just in case this goes down. So all of those different scenarios and situations kind of helped me just become this educator, which is why those accolades just start coming later on.
I know I read it. We were like, man, he is just teacher of the year. This and this and that. I'm like, man, do that. And I'm sad that I can't put those comments. I'm still upset about the comments. So after this is over, I'm going to add those comments at the bottom, like because they're going to read about you. They're going to know all the stuff that you've done and all the distinguished awards you've won, because you are like killing it in alternative ed. Like, man,
so amazing.
You just
so
for your TED Talk and stuff. You like at the top now.
TED Talk, if you're watching, if you're gonna see this video, man, hit your boy up, man. Let's get together, man. Let's get something together.
Yes. So thank you so much, Mr. Phillips. It's been like such a joy just to hear you speak.
Right.
Where you come from and how you're changing the narrative. Now, you talked about a lot of positive things and a lot of positive things that you're implementing. But do you have any suggestions on how we could improve the educational system?
My biggest thing with the education system as an overall, it probably won't get me in trouble. If it does, I don't care.
The 2 cents. Give your 2 cents.
This is just your 2 cents, you know.
I think that the biggest problem that I think education is having right now is they're implementing too many politics within the educational field, and politics for some odd reason they don't mix. When you're doing politics, a lot of times you don't think about kids, you think about finance, you think about money.
I was just going to say that money dollars.
Can I make more of it? Time you leave out the person who's so integral within the education system, because with no students you have no education, you have no school, you have no teachers, you have no principals, you have nothing with no students. So if I had any suggestions on improving the education, remove the politics, or if you're going to put politics inside the educational field, make sure you have somebody who actually came from education.
There you go.
There you go, right there. That's it right there. You have outside folks making choices and laws and rules and regulations that they don't
never taught.
No, never.
Have no educational experience, and even if they might have some educational experience, it might be a year or 2 years. You need to be tapping into some of these teachers, some of these people who have been in it. What are some of the things that you are seeing that is lacking within your school? What are some of the things you are seeing that is lacking within your classroom? And I think once you figure out from these schools, teachers, principals, some of the things that they're lacking and not what you think they're lacking, then and only then will we be able to improve the education system. And not just because we know how they do. Oh yeah, we did talk to so and so. Oh, you're talking about so and so, who the average median household income is right $80,000. Oh, that's who you were talking to. You're not talking about the average median income, for this particular school system is 20,000, 30,000, 40,000.
Right.
Your mom living on certain type of government assistance, where they see their aunts living on. Those are teachers. Those are schools that you need to be speaking, because those schools make up more than those schools who their average median.
That is so true.
Higher.
Right. And I think a lot of times they forget that, and what they do. Well, I'll give them. I'll make them a Title I school, and I'll give them some financing. No, we don't necessarily need financing. We need it's kind of like the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. Colin, he's not doing what he's doing because he needs money. He's doing what he's doing. He wants your influence. He don't want your money.
Right.
Influence to change the things that are going on in the streets.
Exactly.
The influence of the politician, what's going to change what's going on in the school. It ain't the money that you pour into the school. We greatly appreciate the money that they do give us, but that's not what change the actual school system. No, it's your influence, and your influence change. And when your influence changes the school system, then and only then are you going to start seeing an improvement in the school system. So that would be remove the politics, implement the people.
Oh,
I love it.
I know. I wish I could bite the comment. I'm so mad, but I love it. But that is awesome, and that drives a lot of the problems in the education system. Is the politics, because just when you said about overdiagnosing Black boys with ADHD, that's a politics that's in there. So because you have too many teachers that don't look like them, so don't know how to handle them. So it's like, instead of letting Johnny get up and sharpen his pencil because he needs to get up, no, I'm going to drug Johnny. So Johnny sit there and be, and then you wonder why. But then you say Johnny's not participating. Like, it's like, what do you want? Like, and it's a lot of because they don't know how to deal with us. And that's not enough of us going in there.
Another suggestion, any new teacher that comes in, they should be required, if they're teaching at a certain school, they should be required certain amount of hours in cultural diversity, as
Oh,
far
yes.
Yes.
understanding how to reach, speak, and even just culturally understand the students that they're going to be,
Oh, yeah.
Teaching.
you got
Mhm.
to, and no knock, but let's just take, because I'm from Louisiana, let's take somebody who's majoring in education from LSU.
Mhm.
That's the big school in Louisiana.
Mhm.
So they were in LSU, where African Americans make up probably, I would say, probably about no more than 20% of their entire population of the school. But yet at the
Mhm.
same time, you finna go in Baton Rouge, you finna go teach in the hood. Yo, you don't have any idea on none of these.
None.
You have
None.
no idea what you're about to be experiencing and what you're about to be getting into. And that's another reason why, some of I know at the beginning you were saying teachers leave the profession. That's another reason that causes teacher burnout. No,
Mhm.
they don't know how to reach these
The
kids that
students.
Right. But
Mhm.
Lord,
and it's not even them, because I was like number one student, number two in my class. So I always loved learning. My first year going back to teach back at the middle school, hey Pulaski, middle school that I grew up in, I like came home like I don't know what to do because I love learning. And so when
Mhm.
I got faced with a whole bunch of kids that didn't want to learn, I was like, "Well, I don't know what to do because I knew what, even though I looked like them and I came from the same parts they did, but I love to learn. So then I had a problem with it.
Mhm.
So just think of someone that looks like
Relating.
them, that's related
Mhm.
and still having a problem. Just think somebody that doesn't look like them and was like, well, I don't know why Tyreek is not, like
Mhm.
Tyreek is up here, doing stuff. I can't handle it. And that's why they leave. Or because I was assistant principal too. And I had a lot of Teach for America teachers. So they was like
Teachers.
they were like first, they had to do 2 years in a school and to get their master's paid for. So they like, you could tell in their mind, I'm in here for my 2 years. I'm going to survive, and then I'm getting out of here. And a lot of them are like
Mhm.
lawyers now and different things but they, when we interviewed them, oh, I want to give back. I want to help the underprivileged. I want to. As soon as Tyreek and Tyreka come up there, they like, they running out of there like, I can't.
oh, this is for me. This is not for me.
No,
No,
no.
no, no.
So yeah,
Well, we
that was,
thank you for that. We want to know now, because we head
Mhm.
into our ending and we got to wrap this up. What are the next steps and what are your future goals? We want to see where Mr. Phillips Jr. going to be and where's his plan so we can keep, watch out for you and stuff.
say
Mhm.
some of my future plans, goals, steps. I definitely want to get into more of the leadership role, as far as not just impacting others, but I really want to have a more hands-on approach as far as impacting teachers who teach at underprivileged schools.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Those are the schools that make up majority of our school districts. So I feel as though if I can give them some type of tools, as far as in order to understand these students who they have deemed unreachable, I think then we'll start improving the entire school system as a whole. About
Mhm.
who, not only was I a good teacher, no, I was also a bad student. I was
Exactly.
from an entirely different perspective than what you coming from. You coming from a perspective as though, you know, you didn't
Mhm.
get in trouble at school.
That was me. I was like,
You score high on ACT, but yet at the end of the day, when it comes to reaching this student who really does not want to be in your classroom, how do you make him want to be in your classroom?
right, right.
Mhm.
How do you almost trick his mind to making him feel as
Want to
though
be there.
I need to be in this
Yeah.
classroom?
And that's
Mhm.
what I had to learn. I had to try to come up with strategies. I said, because they're not just coming in here, just going to sit down and say, teach me. So I had to make it fun. We were making
Mhm.
stuff. We were doing hands-on. Like I had to make them like, they like, okay, what we doing this week? And like I had to make it, but I didn't know at first. I'm like, nobody wants to come in and just sit down. Everybody
Yeah.
fighting. So yes,
And
that's awesome.
although I'm not a teacher, but I teach kids like either through workshops and stuff. Just like you said earlier, you come in, with your suit or with your tie on. I come in a full face of makeup. I make sure I'm neat. I make sure that I'm neatly dressed because it's sad to say, but that's what catches their attention.
It's so
Mhm.
undervalued. It's like they say, man, dress how you want to be addressed.
Address,
Right. Yes,
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 yes.
yes.
And, and it's the reason why if anybody who follows any of my social media accounts, just as far as one of the again, I'm always big on defying stereotypes.
Hmm.
Teachers don't make enough money to dress like that. Well, let me show you.
No.
Let me wrong. Let me show you how I
Mm-hmm.
went to the. I just picked up a suit for $7, and
Mm-hmm.
whether you would thought it from Josue Banks or you would thought it from Men's Warehouse. So I think we in the profession, we don't take the appearance and we don't take it serious enough. So that's why parents.
Exactly.
Granted, I am a man. Granted,
Mm-hmm.
I am 6'2", 220 pounds. So I guess that can be a slight what intimidating. But I promise you, when parents meet me, they're not intimidated by me, but they ultimately they respect.
I just want to say this: the respect is there.
They
Yes.
respect the image that I uphold because they see me. I have you will see me literally on the monkey bars in a 3-piece suit. That is what you'll see me doing. That is what you'll see me
But
doing.
that's and we need that, and especially young men, they need to see that. They need to see somebody with pants not sagging, something that's coming in about their business, because you need to be able to do that. So
it's so many different easy ways that you can reach a kid. But I come in with a suit and some J's on. Ooh, the J's got them, but they still see me suited up.
Exactly.
So it's just, again, I'm tricking the mind. Tricking the mind.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I appreciate you guys having me, man.
You have been a joy. I mean, we could go on for
hours.
But what we're gonna do is promise to have you back again. And what I would love to get a parent on here. That's one of the things, so that parents can we know your story now, but ask you questions. And how can a parent advocate for their child? And so that's something that we definitely would like to be able to do in the future. So if you with it, we with it, and we're gonna make sure we stay in touch.
Let's make it happen.
Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, man. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for having me, man. It was an absolute pleasure. Not only speaking with you all, but just meeting and connecting with you all, man. And now I don't consider y'all associates anymore. I consider y'all as friends and family. So
thank you.
Yes. Well, we feel the same, and we're just so happy that the young folks really have someone like you in the classroom that looks like them, but that's fighting for them and advocating for them, because they don't always have that. So we salute you. We want to thank you on this 2 Cent Tuesdays. And we just want to thank everyone for tuning in. And like I said, I don't know what happened with the comments, but we can always go back, watch, and add more comments. So please do that and share this video. We want to enrich the lives of everyone that comes across it. So share.
Share, like, and comment, man. Let's
get
Tuesday, man, on Ellen. Let's get them on whatever talk show.
Yes, because he's ready to do his TED talk. So we want to see you right there. He got started off here. Yes. All right, Shema, do you want to take us out?
Yes. Again, everyone, thank you so much. This is our 3rd, Nakeisha.
Yes.
2 Cent Tuesdays. We have so much engagement. We have great guests coming your way every Tuesday from now until November 19th at 6:30 p.m. Facebook Live. Thank you so much. Continue to learn about education, the ins, the outs, the goods, the bad, everything. Next year, we're going to bring something a little bit new to you guys. We may start bringing in some parents as well to get their perspectives. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Van. This has been awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Van.
I'm going to end it, but you guys stay on.
Okay.